5:01. All board members for Ron present. New board member Gerald and Rachel here. Welcome to the group.
Thank you.
Organizational meeting will get started. With that, look for a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Motion from Cheryl. Second from Rick. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Carried. Public input. We have nobody here to address the board, so we will move on to the organizational board. We're now looking for nominations for the position of chairperson.
I'd like to nominate Rick King.
I have a motion from Bruce to nominate Rick.
I was second.
A second from Cheryl. Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Hearing no further nominations, I'll entertain the motion to close the nominations and cast ballots. And
Can we make a motion to cast unanimous ballot?
yeah, I think we make a motion to cast unanimous ballot.
Motion to cast unanimous ballot.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion from Bruce, second from Gerald. Any further discussions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say no. Carried.
Do I get a chance? I don't get a chance to say no.
Take a chance. I'll turn the floor to you then, Rick.
Okay.
We now, I'm not really prepared for this. It's just,
Okay.
Okay.
That's
Yep.
fine.
we're now looking for nominations for the position of clerk. So,
Yeah.
Gerald, you interested?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'll make motion to nominate Gerald.
I'll second it.
Bruce, Rachel seconds the
Well, you
nomination.
jumped right on that.
Are there any further nominations? Any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Hearing no further nominations, I will entertain a motion to close the nominations and cast ballots.
I'll make a motion to cast unanimous ballot.
I'll
Next
second.
motion. Cheryl, seconds for unanimous ballot. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Cheryl, you are the clerk.
Well, thank you. I get to come. Okay.
Just gonna sign your name along.
Yes.
All right, okay.
Now recognize nominations for the position of treasurer.
I'd like to nominate Cheryl, if you're interested again.
I will do it again unless someone else is interested. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
I'll second it.
Rachel seconds. Any further nominations? Any further nominations? Any further nominations? No further nominations. I entertain a motion to close the nominations and cast ballots.
Make motion to cast unanimous ballot, Cheryl.
Second.
Gerald seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Now recognize motion, nominations for position of vice chairperson.
Rachel, you'll be interested?
I could try it.
You're only up when the chair doesn't show up. That's the only time.
Well, that's not so bad then. Okay.
It's a good position.
We're not both at the same time.
It's a good position. I nominate Rachel.
Gerald nominates Rachel. Is there a second?
I make it second.
Gerald seconds. Any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Hearing no further nominations, I will entertain a motion to close the nominations and cast ballots.
Make a motion to cast unanimous ballot.
Okay, Bruce makes a motion to cast unanimous ballot. Second.
I'll second that.
Thomas seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Opposed? Elected. Okay, now assignment of committees. Want to kind of go through that?
Sure, I can do that. I'll just quick, there's ultimately what we're going to end up with is a document that is, that has the committee assignments. This is a summary document. So we'll have our state high school, the PPC and MREA, Stearns County Family Collaborative Services, legislative liaison, and so on. The document that came out for all of you to express interest, what we'll just do is go line by line, maybe. And I tried to make it a little bit bigger for us just to kind of see if there are any other, I guess, questions or comments. Everybody does have access to this document, but Minnesota State High School League, historic in the past, Rick has served on that committee.
We've never been.
It has,
You had to come in for a vote one time.
I had to sign something one
Yeah.
time.
yep.
One time.
One time in all the
And-
years that I've been on the board.
Okay. Thomas did express interest in serving. If anybody else is opposed, otherwise Thomas can have that.
Anybody else?
Okay. Schools for Equity and Education. So C and MREA are part of this position. Committee position has traditionally corresponded with the legislative liaison, because those items often go hand in hand. As we move into our work session, you're going to hear a little bit more about the legislative work and the advocacy of MREA and C. C, the Schools for Equity and Education, is really about equalizing funding for rural districts in relation to metro districts. And MREA really does focus on the rural education districts as well. So C does meet much more frequently. MREA they have about once a year, they'll have an annual conference, but then they also will hold regional meetings. They've not been quite as structured as C in the past, but it makes sense for those two to be paired together. And looking at that, I see, so we have Thomas and Rachel have both expressed interest. There's one, historically, there's been one member required there, so I'll let the two of you talk through that.
Yeah, for me, it's something that I've been kind of poking around
Or
interested in
saying,
the
look
last
for
couple
that,
of.
and I mean, we.
Yeah.
Would
This
it
is anybody
be
else?
wrong to have a backup in case an alternate on that, or I don't know.
Yeah,
There's no rules or regulations on that one
No,
as far
correct.
as,
I mean, that's fine.
I mean, there are a number of meetings and
Yeah.
can get to the point where
Sure. If one can't, sure.
Yep.
Miranda, can you add that? Okay, thank you. I've got it kind of zoomed, so I can't. So, okay, thank you. All right,
You,
over a little bit here.
real quick, you'll probably see a bunch of the C stuff. Thursday or Friday, there'll be something there.
Okay.
For everybody, it's a
Yeah, we all.
very interesting. We've all been watching over that.
Okay,
It's about our districts compared to the large districts. I think that's your sentiment.
So the next area, I'm not quite sure why this is all of a sudden not allowing me to scroll or do something different, but somehow something got frozen. Miranda, I might have
Your
been
split
up on that.
screen down.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened though. So the Stearns County Family Collaborative, what that is, so there is a pool of money that has come together, and there's a collaborative that identifies how a school district can use an allocated set of money. And then there's special projects that are part of that allocation as well. And there is twice a year. They used to meet in person. Now they just are meeting virtually. And what those committees do is really kind of review the budget. They review the projects, and they set kind of give some guidance for the collaborative around whether or not something should be approved or not approved. So I see Rachel has expressed some interest in that. If that's something I think you'd be able to do. Kind of, again, there's limited travel, and they've moved to virtual.
Or say if it was still in St. Cloud, I work in St. Cloud, so.
So that would be
So for me, it wasn't,
great. Any other interest? Otherwise, Rachel has expressed that. Okay. Those are meetings that I traditionally am on with you as well. So.
okay.
That would say and an alternate. Do we need an alternate?
I don't
I
know.
don't think we've ever used one.
Yeah,
We
I don't
always
think we
put an
ever have that I
alternate.
know
We've
of.
never used one.
The thing that I think is tricky about this one and the West Central Ed District for an alternate is that it's kind of, if
Built
you
on
aren't
itself.
involved in it,
Yeah.
you're just not really gonna know anyways. So it's almost better to have myself present
Yeah.
or, and then if for some reason you can't, then we just try to text people, get people on the call to make sure that we have a quorum for the meeting. So,
With every district, there's a superintendent and.
correct.
board member, So,
I think the reason for having an alternate on that one was because if they didn't have a quorum, they couldn't have a meeting
Yes,
and the superintendents don't vote.
that is still true. Yep.
So
Yep.
they, now going virtual, they have a better chance of being that quorum.
except for our last meeting. We had to
Yeah.
barely scrape by on
It was
the.
really, yeah.
Oh, no.
Miranda, thank you for fixing the spreadsheet. I appreciate that. Legislative liaison. So again, this is kind of paired pretty closely. So if Thomas is interested in maintaining that one, then it can go with MREA and C. I think that would be great. West Central Education District. So again, the West Central Ed District is our education district that supports and serves our students with special education needs. It also supports and serves our students that need alternative, like an alternative educational program. This is one of the areas where the board meets 6 times a year. They're moving to holding more of their meetings virtually. This first one, which will be either January 30th or January 31st, will be in person in Melrose. So whoever is representing the board has an opportunity to see the facility in Melrose. This is one where I don't think an alternate is necessary any longer because the joint powers agreement was revised so that if a board member is not there, a superintendent has voting power. So I think you don't lose the opportunity for a quorum there. But that again is a little bit of the history behind that vote. So I see Rachel is interested in that. If anybody else is that you?
No,
Oh,
Thomas
Thomas.
is interested.
Oh my, I'm
And,
sorry about that.
and I usually have, gone through and just kind of posted interests, not necessarily like, need to be on it either. So, if anybody else is definitely willing to take that, especially with being on the C and the things, but
So being on, maybe just an ignorant question, but being on the C and being on this, I mean, do they kind of like work hand in hand or?
Not necessarily.
All right.
this is more like just your local district
These
education type thing, less of the legislative.
global, yep, there's less state and, West Central Ed District is a very, there's not a lot of heavy involvement from a commitment outside of those 6 times per year. And those board meetings are really pretty traditional. They're very quick. Not that that's, I mean, they're pretty efficient because there's not a lot of change over the course of time. You know,
Gotcha.
the ed district follows a lot of procedures that our district already has in place. So there's not a lot of discussion or a lot of question about the way in which things need to be presented. So
Okay,
they're pretty efficient.
okay.
Over time, we've not ever had lots of people doing that one. Somebody gets started with it, probably should look at trying to stay that with it for a while. My impression is when people get involved, it's 3, 4, 5, 6 meetings till you understand a little bit where they're coming from. And then it starts to click.
Gotcha.
From my perspective also, I think the greatest part of it is they report back to the board what it's up to because we have students involved.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Maggie she was on it all. 4
Yeah, she
years.
did.
Yes,
Yeah.
So,
Enough reports so we kind of knew what was going on. Yeah,
Gotcha.
we have somebody watching this thing.
Well, I'd be interested in it. So I guess the way I viewed it, if I saw that there might be an opening in someplace, that's why I put in for it. So Thomas, I saw that you had it, so I wasn't gonna step on anybody's
No.
toes.
No.
So, but no, I'd be interested in it. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it'd be a good slot for you.
Yeah, you could step in. Yes.
All right.
So then Gerald, after the meeting, if we can connect to see if the 30th or 31st works better for you, that would be great.
Okay, yeah, not a problem.
Okay. All right, continuing ed. I'm a little, this has been continuing education. There's not a lot that the board really has an opportunity to do with this because, the requirements are really pretty set by Pellsby, which is our licensing entity. We do meet 4 times per year. I would say, if I could be honest, I'm gonna guess Cheryl has, as she sat there for a couple of times, has very limited input. I mean, it's just a matter of sitting and watching us fill out forms. So it's a very low
It's a
key.
learning experience. I did have questions at the meetings, which they promptly answered for me, and it was very interesting. I learned more of how the teachers interact and what their requirements are, and that it was interesting. It's an interesting one. And like she said, it doesn't require a lot of board interaction,
Mhm.
but we're required to be on the committee.
So,
I'll back away in a minute. Not because I want to back away, but I've sat on a bunch of these. And if you're interested, I think it's wise to get the new board members on that.
sure. So I'm hearing, Bruce will step away and Rachel, that can be yours. Okay. Those we do typically meet, at about 3:15, the 4 times per year
In person, right?
in person. Yep. Those have historically been at the elementary. Kind of depends on who's chairing that committee from within the district, but that's where they've typically been.
Okay.
Community Advisory Council, this is it only 2 times per year? I
I felt
thought,
like it's quarterly.
I think it's
Yeah,
4 times per
Yeah,
year.
that's more
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
That's gonna
it's,
be a very important committee this year
that's gonna be a big committee. Yep.
because of the changeover.
We used to do it every time his brochure came out, or very close.
That,
It's basically, that's 4 times a year,
Yeah.
but it's not exactly quarterly, but it's about when those magazines come out.
And you get fed.
And you get fed. Lunch.
so.
Punch the bucket, button, Rick.
Right, so, we've got, Thomas has served on that in the past. I don't know if that was something, Thomas, that you did in the past out of interest, or if that was part of the chair assignment, do you know?
I don't think it was chair.
It was a fair assignment,
Just interest?
just interest in that front, and again, interested again, but it's not something that I packed up on, I
I can be
mean,
an alternate for that one.
Okay.
If we need an alternate, I can be an alternate for that one, and I'll let you, I mean,
Yeah.
if you're on it, you might as
Yeah.
well.
Bruce, I don't know if you have any interest in that. You
Okay,
Again, if Rachel wants to do a second or wants to do it, I'm fine with that.
That's another good learning experience. You hear a lot from community.
Well, that's kind of, I was kind of,
Yeah,
all right. So who's taking the lead?
Gonna be
Thomas is the lead
Okay.
and Rachel's the alternate,
Mhm.
okay? All right, the world's best workforce. So again, our world's best workforce is a required plan. We meet twice a year. We will meet shortly after, usually we meet January, February and set our goals and then we'll meet again to review kind of our progress on our goals. And you'll remember for existing board members, that was presented in December. We always have to present that before December 15th when it has to be submitted to MDE. So the purpose of that is to review our data and our plans and make sure that everything that we're submitting for our plans is, I guess, in alignment with what we've set for goals. So that is the intent of the world's best workforce. So taking a look, gotta get to the right column. Whoops, I'm down one too many. So Gerald had interest in that and Bruce has been in that, and we are looking for 3 members. And
Maybe we should put Ron on the committee. or
that would be fine.
yeah.
Sure.
Most of those meetings are after school,
Mm.
early evening.
Early evening.
So it should be good.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. All right, now we're gonna move into negotiations. So traditionally, the negotiations, obviously, these are going to align every other year. We are going to have more meetings. We try to split these up and have, there are some that naturally you'll see coming together. So for example, food service and custodian, it's the same bargaining unit, the same representative that negotiates those two contracts. And so that's why those have typically been together. The 3 board members is important because there are some times where you just, not everybody can be there, but we don't want to hold up the process. And so we really try to have, I think 3 is an important number there. So in the past, one of the other things that I just, from my perspective, would add some value is if we can have at least one board member who has been on a previous negotiation cycle. It's really helpful because you don't lose the history that goes along with negotiations. So taking a look at teachers.
Another thing we were doing is the chairperson we were putting.
I was assuming I'm gonna be on every one of those. right?
Yep.
Yeah, so that was one of the thoughts. So that was tended to be continuity
Between all new
through all of them, because when we're on separate ones, we don't know what's going on in all the others.
Yep. And I think in the past, Bruce, you've had some interest in being on the teacher negotiations. I think that would be a good piece for continuity as well. Is so between Gerald and, and again, you guys can, Rachel and Gerald, if you want to talk through.
This is one I would really like to be on. I think it's going to be a difficult one. And I would like to stick with it. I was on last time too.
Okay,
The teacher's budget?
the teachers.
Oh, I'll definitely step down.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was like, I will too. That's totally
Thank
fine.
you.
okay. So then we would have Cheryl, Bruce, and Rick.
Yep.
Okay. Taking a look at the next one are our paraprofessionals. I will just add, Ron cannot be on this one. So just as a point of reference, if we want to keep that in mind so that he can be on a different one.
And I prefer not to be because my daughter works at the school here.
Okay,
If we've got Rick on there,
Technically, I can be, but I prefer not to.
Yeah.
if we have Rick, we're set.
so we'll have
Gerald and.
Rick, Gerald, and Rachel.
Yeah.
Okay. And then food service, custodial maintenance. So we've got Rick and Thomas.
I'm actually gonna step down from that one. I have a family member that does the food service.
Okay,
Ron shouldn't have any conflicts in food service custodian.
should not. Yep, we could do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Good choice.
And then administrators. So we'll have Rick, Thomas, and Rachel and Cheryl have all expressed interest.
And I'm good either way to be on or off. It's,
You're gonna be busy, man.
that's it, yeah. The administrators and the transportation are typically 2 of the faster
Yes.
negotiation,
They are.
and next transportation move.
Transportation is a moot point for the next 2 years. 'cause
Yeah,
it's
so
been
that's the
negotiated
one
for
we're gonna
3.
do anyways.
So,
But yeah, between Cheryl and Rachel or
Okay.
anybody else, I'm okay with stepping off that one. The Cheryl one.
Rick, you were on that one before, weren't you?
Transportation.
How about administration?
No.
administration was Thomas, Jake, and Cheryl.
Mhm.
But I think we're done. We don't have another negotiation for administration right now.
Well, they'll all be up next year.
They'll be up next
And
year.
we'll have buildings and grounds.
It's in 2023?
Yeah,
Yep, they
Yep,
follow
they're
the
all
same
up.
cycle.
yeah.
Okay.
Transportation is the only one that has that goofy contract
Right now.
with 3-year.
Transportation is an interesting one.
Yeah.
There's multiple interest here, so I will step down if someone else is interested.
I think so, that one.
And that one again is, we'll discuss this one again before there's any action. Because we'll do nothing until after next January.
Okay.
So,
All right,
Okay, so we're set on administration and get me off the transportation one too. Cheryl off of that one.
yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
And
Or
then
maybe,
so-
or say maybe Ron wants.
Yeah, I would put Ron on that one. It's not
You
gonna,
can swap Ron in for me if you want.
yeah, it's
to.
not gonna.
there's, yeah.
And
not
that
gonna
way,
meet
I mean,
anyways.
but I mean, it gives him, you know,
Meet and confer. Meet and confer has, we meet one time a year. Traditionally, it is to discuss the calendar. That committee, had, I believe, that was only one person?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Cheryl was on it in the
Yes,
past.
you have two.
I was thinking, for some reason, I was thinking there were more, but, so Cheryl is on it right now. Staff development, was revised. That meets 4 times a year. That was revised to, have 2 members. The biggest thing with the staff development is that it traditionally aligns with some of the needs of our strategic plan. What is it that we need for a training and opportunities for our staff? And what is happening from a licensure perspective to make sure that we are staying up on current practices. So I see, so Gerald and Rachel have expressed interest in serving on the staff development.
That's another interesting one. You really learn a lot about what goes on with the teachers.
And then district-wide tech, the tech committee, that one meets 4 times a year as needed. It's virtually. I think we had, Thomas has been on it in the past, and I don't remember who was the alternate last year or the second ad last year.
I don't,
I think
I
that's
don't,
maybe-
nobody else ever joined but me, so.
Yeah. So,
I saw that we probably said 2, I'm like, I don't know who else would have been on it, but
so, and I think one of the things that we had talked about the last time we were looking at this was just keeping in mind that the tech levy is going to be coming forward.
Megan
And
was
so,
the other one.
oh, Megan,
Megan
Megan
was the other one.
okay. So keeping in mind that the tech levy is going to be coming up, and so really having part of the role of the board is to communicate with the whole board when that committee meets, kind of what's happening technologically, so that our community is aware of the needs. Not seeing any other district-wide tech. We move down to the policy committee. So the policy committee meets 4 times per year. We do need 1 more member.
Want to put me on it? I've been on it
Yep,
many years, so
that would be great.
I'll stay on that.
Okay, thank you. That is it's a pretty smooth committee. The previous superintendent did a lot of work to really streamline the process, and all the policies have been reviewed within the last 5 years, which makes the work of the board much more, much smoother. So we really review a lot of MSBA's work on that.
But at the same time, when C committee goes through everything and they make their recommendations, the entire board can still ask questions and needs to approve the whole policy change.
Correct. So then we have 3 on the policy committee, the climate committee. So this is, we've not met a lot this year.
I would like to be on that, so.
Yeah.
I would have Ron too.
Okay,
Thank you. So is that usually in the evenings as well?
it's usually an evening meeting. Yep. And so then we would have 3. Gerald as well.
You're okay with that too?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Wellness committee, that's twice per year. I don't, what we kind of did is combined some of the work that the wellness and the climate committee were doing. I don't know that it probably should have been that way, but when we started talking a lot about what was happening in the climate committee, we came to the realization that there was some need for some mental health support, some just like all around work for the climate and culture of our school. But the wellness committee is still something that we need to get back in place. So 2 times a year.
I'd say, is that something that needs to be in place, or is that something that could be joined? The climate and wellness committee together with the 3 board members versus,
I
Or is
think
it-
I'll have to look at policy
Required by
533.
policy.
It's by
Most of our
policy.
policies are coming off of state statute or something.
Yeah, I can review policy 533 and see where that is in relation to the policy committee and
Coming out of the COVID has been a little bit interesting. All of this was clicking beforehand, but it's been a different process getting all clicking again. I think it would get it all back started anyway.
So taking a look at that, Rachel has interest in the wellness committee, so thank you for that. And then facilities and equipment, this is one now that the referendum passed, we're gonna get back into a little bit smoother cycle. So
I don't
Thomas,
need to be on that one. I'm gonna-
You sure? I was gonna say Bruce should be on that one, because you're the one that always has.
Yeah. Well,
You dive into that more than anybody.
I kind of agree with that. I mean, if you're okay with sitting on it.
I'm okay with it.
And
I
I'm-
don't want to step in where somebody else wants to be.
I'd like to sit on it. I think we're going to have to get started with our softball field somewhere along the
This
way.
conversation again now.
And that's something I was in on before. I'd kind of like to keep it continuing.
Just I know you seem like you've kind of a lot of meetings here as well. I don't know what your schedule looks like or what that.
I can step away too.
Yeah, I'm
I'll let you take that one.
Ron, you don't have to sign in, just.
Okay, so we got that.
Yep.
So that concludes.
Oh, there's sir.
So we've got Thomas, Bruce, and Cheryl. Okay,
Is the Safe Routes to School still active?
I've not heard it. They've not reached out again.
I was just wondering because that
Have
was.
an ad hoc committee.
It was kind of, yeah.
We were just helping the city.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, just asking.
Okay.
All right.
Ready to move on to number 6? Regular school board meetings.
Do we need to?
We
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 need
need a
to-
motion
Oh, we have
for
a
that
motion,
to
okay.
accept it.
Okay. Was there a motion to accept the committee assignments?
I'll make the motion.
Let's make a motion.
Second.
Gerald seconds. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I did.
Opposed?
They all did.
Okay. That was number 5, right?
Yep.
Now, regular school board meeting.
So last year at this time, we set it for a 5:00 PM. I know there's been some discussion about possibly revisiting that and revising. They were previously 6. And then I've heard some discussion about kind of splitting in the middle at 5:30. So now this is going to be open for you to discuss as a board and determine what you feel is best.
I personally am open to anything here. Pretty much the 5 o'clock on. I just don't know if 5 o'clock works, especially with young families.
Mhm.
Okay.
And everybody getting home,
Work
getting
schedules and.
everything under control before they come back, maybe 6 or if it's 7 o'clock, doesn't bother me.
And you can.
I'm really open.
Discussion too. I'm open too. We're retired. I can work around whatever schedule works for everybody else.
We have to have it work for a majority of everybody, so you don't get here all stressed out. Cause it's difficult sometimes.
I'm flexible, except I can't do this if we're gonna do this at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
I had put in my phone, I'll be honest with you, I thought this was at 6 o'clock. I thought the previous meeting you guys had agreed to, so I put it in my phone, but it was my mistake. I gotta apologize for being late, but
Not a problem.
This discussion did come up last time, so.
yeah, anytime after 5 o'clock is fine, but 5 o'clock just isn't gonna work because I've gotta respond. I mean, I have a job that comes first.
Yeah. And that's what, I think we've kind of all got to that agreement before, but just now a question is, do we want, is 5:30 still pushing it? Are we better off going back to a 6 o'clock meeting?
Otherwise, I'd gladly step away. I can do that too.
No.
No,
6 o'clock, I think makes more, rings bell. 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
5:30 is kind of,
Yeah, I'm okay with that too.
doesn't
I know
matter.
we went from the 6 to 5 because it was just trying to get in earlier, out earlier, between
It's worked
sporting
better for more
events,
people
between this and that, but
activities.
it's just,
At that-
yeah,
at
it's
that time.
been a year of difficulty, at least in my household for that 5. So that's why I wanted to, yeah, so, I mean, we okay with just going back to a 6 PM meeting and keeping it even numbered and
I'm good with anything based on
I can work with whatever.
Yeah.
where everybody's at.
5:30 or 6. either
Not
way.
2 AM, no.
I think 6 works better, especially, I mean, for like Anna, she always has, like even for me, I gotta take off all the time. It's not hard, but I think that if it works better for everyone, 6 is a better time.
just do a 6 o'clock.
So
Yeah.
is later a better option for anybody? We got one time to talk about it. Is
Yeah,
I would prefer not.
They used to meet like at 8 o'clock. So
Yeah.
yeah, no,
yeah, we used to be at 8 o'clock. one time ago,
7, 8.
But
No, my kids are in bed by like between 7 and 7:30.
if we're good at 6,
I think 6 is 6.
And are we sticking with the days?
Okay, so that comes up next.
Oh, does it? Okay, so the time is first?
Yep.
We have to vote on that specifically?
Yeah, make a motion that we move the meetings to 6 o'clock.
A second.
Cheryl seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, days.
So take a look at, oh, you know what? You were right. I was wrong. I'm sorry. We do need to look at that because we have to put the two times per month. I'm sorry. So if you take a look at the proposed meeting schedule, I'm gonna show you, typically they've been 2 times a month and it's been the 2nd and 4th Tuesday. You'll notice that I also attached in there for you, dates that the school board cannot meet, or that have provisions. But you'll notice I am suggesting that we meet on February 14th at 1:30. In the past, in December, we've had the opportunity for students to come and present to the board. That was a snow day. And so our students didn't have an opportunity to present to the board in December. So what I'm asking the board to consider is in February, obviously I didn't want to do it in January because here we are. But if we would look at February 14th meeting at 1:30 PM so that students would have an opportunity to present to the board. Other than that, you'll notice May 9th has also historically been a daytime meeting to have students present at board meeting again, if that's something that the board would like to continue. Otherwise, you'll notice that it is the March 14th, there is a township election for some townships. And you'll also notice on August 8th, it's a primary election day. So on that day, we would have to conclude by 6 o'clock. So either
The March 14th, we do conclude by 6 o'clock.
if there are township elections, we do have to,
So that's,
but we won't, I don't know if there's any township elections.
if there is one, then we have to.
Correct.
Okay.
Now, we have to meet, we have to be adjourned by 6, but can we meet after 8 o'clock?
You could also meet after 8 o'clock. You cannot meet from 6 to 8 o'clock. So if we want to set a calendar, now is the time to kind of take a look at those individual dates and make a determination to what seems.
So the August meeting would be the only real, at least for myself, be the potential conflict at the 5 PM. Do we suck it up with the 8 PM meeting that night instead of trying to hurry through a meeting from 5 to 6? We've done it before, but there's also been times we
I'd
get
be
caught up
glad
in
to go to
conversation.
8 o'clock meeting on those days in
Yeah.
a moment.
I don't
personally.
We've gotten caught up in conversation and it's 5:59 PM and the meeting has to adjourn. We gotta be out.
Cut it off right in the middle of discussion and
Mhm.
Oh, I agree. Yeah,
but
go
we
late.
don't really have a lot of choice with the elections.
Right.
So August 8th will be an 8 o'clock start time.
Okay.
Okay,
Or could it be on a Monday? Do we have?
Or-
It could be on
Yeah,
Monday.
so we're talking about the same times, right? As much as possible.
Yeah.
But maybe we leave the same time and just switch the day.
that'd be fine
My
too.
only other thought towards the Monday question would be that's when the city council meets on Mondays. I mean, I don't know if I don't think we're fighting for crowds between city council or school board meeting, but
What time is their meeting?
I think theirs
I thought that
begin
was 7.
I
no,
think
that-
that's.
Seven?
Mm,
I've been there for meetings. I thought they were earlier.
I thought they were like 5:30 or something,
I think they're like
5 or 5:30.
5 or 5:30 when I've been there.
That's my only thought. I mean, I'm okay with the Monday, but you know, you potentially have that conflict between.
Well, just for that meeting, we could just switch to that Monday.
Correct. It would be just that one meeting.
Yeah, the question is, do we change the day or the time? What's
Right.
a bigger,
I'm good either way. Either way, it's putting a different in my
What
calendar.
works best for everybody.
I think it needs to be.
I'd
as
say I
smooth
prefer
as possible.
changing the date versus the time frame.
The date,
Okay.
that time.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
so August, maybe August 7th?
August 7th, okay.
Ron,
Mr. Janelle, I have a question. What happens if there is a date where a person can't physically be here? Can a person do it online and be on the?
no, your best option is being absent, at that point in time. I'm gonna miss the meeting August 14th. It's actually, I'll be in Florida,
I'm gonna be gone,
so.
May 9th, I believe you've got a date there. I'm gonna be in Dallas that week.
Yep, then you just miss, we all have had it.
Okay, I'm just,
So it's not,
just
it's not always here.
I'm just being upfront with you. So.
Rick, you were had a nice long vacation or whatever it was last year and missed a couple meetings, so no.
It happens.
It's, the biggest thing is that we have a quorum, and when I know you're gonna be absent, I can just confirm with everybody else, and it's not been.
And I will let you know if I'm gonna miss, but I guess like say tonight, I guess I was.
And you can always go back and watch the meeting when you've been absent.
Yep.
You'll be brought up to date.
No problem.
Can I ask you off the wall question? August 14th, we're not meeting on that.
February 14th. I said August 14th. Sorry, February 14th.
Okay.
Valid.
Oh, that's right.
We're in Mosley in Florida with the kids.
Not a problem.
Enjoy.
Kind of jealous.
All right,
The kids kind of made me wonder.
okay. All right, and then.
And the in-laws. Put that all out there.
Well, somebody's got to babysit the kids.
Yeah.
So the election days, we're gonna go to Monday.
Monday, so that'd be
So that'd
March
be-
13th then?
August 7th, and if we need to, I will find out
Okay.
if we need to, if there are, I don't,
We have a whole bunch of townships
yeah,
and they used to be all of that on that date.
so we can just proactively.
I think we just probably gonna change it
I
to
think
Yeah.
it's been-
And that would help bring
Don't worry about.
6 p.m. on the 13th. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, any other changes?
So then let's. Asterisk. There's one there, one there. Okay. And then two, just a reminder, in December, we only meet once, and in July, we only meet once. And so those, when you only meet one time, it's all a business meeting, so that there's action for payment of bills and such.
Okay, so we have that before us.
Now you can do your,
Okay.
sorry.
Do we have a motion to accept the calendar?
I make a motion to accept the calendar.
Okay, Ron makes a motion, second.
Second.
Gerald. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay, the next is establishing compensation for board members. Notice what the compensation has been. And we can either look at changing any of that, or we can move to leave it all the same.
I make a motion to keep it the same.
I'll second it.
Rachel seconds that we keep compensation the same. Screwed up. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This is why I'm not on the technology committee.
We can do a payroll. That's not a big deal.
Okay, did we move that one though? Okay, so that's we take care of.
Yep.
School district legal counsel and authorized contact.
So this is a very standard authorization. In some districts have legal counsel on retainer. Others use a resolution such as this, so that it's an authorization to contact legal counsel should the need arise. And that would be something that authorizes myself or the board chair to contact legal counsel.
And this is what we've done in the past.
This is what has
And I'll
been on
make
every
that
in
motion.
the past.
Okay, Bruce makes a motion.
I'll second it.
Cheryl makes a motion. Seconds. We have to have a roll call on this one.
Cheryl,
Aye.
Gerald,
I,
I used to name no. Rick,
Aye.
Rachel,
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Bruce,
Hi.
Rob.
Aye.
Passes. Can. Okay, so we're up for adjournment.
Make motion to adjourn.
Second,
I'll
Second.
second.
Rachel.
second.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Adjourns our meeting.